Please rise for the Honorable Judge Stone Cold Steve Austin!
Austin 316 says order in the court. Let's have opening arguments in the custody case of Dilbert versus the aliens, robots, cows, hillbillies, a billionaire, and 17 engineers.
My only goal is to do what's best for this baby. Maybe that means I don't raise it myself, but I will never, ever turn my baby over to them.
You want compassion? Take your ass to church. Custody is awarded to the freaks. And that's the bottom line, 'cause Stone Cold said so.
This is On the Network.
Welcome to On the Network, everyone. I'm Richard, and with me, as always, is Tyler David. Tyler, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. I mean, I was having a horrible week, but today was okay, I guess. So I got that going for me.
Yeah, I have to pretty much agree with you there. It was just, I don't know, like this week just seemed like it would never end. And
I know.
it was funny, like I texted one of my friends who I usually hang out with Friday nights. And usually like Thursdays, like one of us will text each other like, hey, you know, is Friday night still on? And he was just like, what the hell are you talking about? And then he was like, oh damn, it's really the end of the week. So apparently we were not the only ones just having just that shitty of a week.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's been a rough week. But thank God tomorrow's Friday.
Yep.
Get that over with. Then we got 2 great pay-per-views, it looks like, this weekend to look forward to.
Yeah. Great's one way of saying it.
Well, yeah, don't count your eggs before they hatch, so.
But we do have 2 pay-per-views to look forward to.
Do you want to go straight into that first?
Yeah.
Okay. So predictions. We'll start off with NXT because that's first on Saturday. Let's see here. We have. I didn't. Carmella versus Eva Marie. Did you even know about that?
Okay, so I am wondering if that's... So they advertised that on NXT
Yeah.
as next Wednesday.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I'm not sure if they're going to show it on Saturday or if it'll be a dark match on Saturday and then show it on Wednesday, or if Wednesday is going to be a rematch. Because I did see that somewhere, and I was like, that's weird, because you guys just said it's on Wednesday.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, you know they're fucking shooting Eva Marie to the moon, so I'll highly doubt Carmella winning this one.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Which is a shame.
Yeah. And then let's see what we got next. Bull Dempsey versus Elias Sampson. See, these have to be from Wednesday.
Yeah. See, so what I think they're doing is it's going to be like a 3-hour show live, and then it's going to be a 2-hour pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view?
Yeah.
Okay. See, that makes sense, because they advertised Bull Dempsey coming back, which he's going against Elias Sampson.
Yeah.
Do you remember who that is? I mean, I don't.
He's Elias Sampson. How could you question that? How?
His name might as well be Jobber McJobberson. Anyway, Bull Dempsey's gonna win this for sure.
Right.
His triumphant return since his workout routine. Have you seen? Has he actually gotten to shape, or is this all story?
It's all story.
Okay. We'll see. I've been enjoying his videos, so we'll see what he does with it. And then okay, this next match is for Wednesday as well, but might as well get your opinion on it. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte versus Dana Brooke versus Emma in a fatal 4-way. So it makes sense.
Wait, could you say all of them again?
Becky Lynch,
Charlotte, Emma?
Emma and Dana Brooke.
See, now that one, I'm not sure. That one might
See-
actually be part of Saturday.
No, that's Wednesday. They announced it for Wednesday, I'm pretty
Okay.
sure. My question is, why is this not a tag team match? The only thing I can think of is Emma or Dana Brooke, they're going to turn on each other, I think. Otherwise, it would just be a tag team match, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, that's 2/3 of PCP. And
Yeah, so Becky and Charlotte would be together, and Dana and Emma would be together. So the only reason to have it is every man for themselves is because there's no title on the line.
Right.
So it has to be Emma's going to be turning on Dana, or vice versa. My guess is Emma's going to turn face again.
I'm okay with her as a heel, just not with Dana Brooke.
Yeah. I mean, I doubt Dana's not going to turn face. That's not going to happen.
Right.
And they're not going to do anything with Charlotte and Becky because they're on the main roster now.
This match seems like a house show match.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you were at the second one in Cleveland. This is very much a house show type match. You know, and they're just like, well, we're going to film it anyway, so.
Unless
throw it
they're
on.
making it. The only other thing I can think of is saying, fuck it, let's put all four in the ring at the same time to make it more entertaining.
Yep.
It's essentially a tag team match, but why didn't they just do like a no DQ? But I don't know. It's fine. We'll see what happens.
Right.
Okay. And then, again, I think this next match is Wednesday as well. 8-man tag team match. Enzo, Cass, Ryder, Mojo versus Jason Jordan, Chad Gable, and Dawson and Wilder.
So they're putting Enzo and Cass with the bros.
Hype bros, man.
God damn it.
You ain't hype?
No, I'm not. No, don't do that to Enzo and Cass. They don't need that shit.
I don't care what you say. I like them. Zack Ryder has been impressing me a little bit lately. He can pull off some good moves, and I like their tag team finisher. Anyway, I don't know who's gonna win this one. Dawson and Wilder have a win over Enzo and Cass recently, and Jason Jordan and Chad Gable have been doing really good. So I feel like they might give them for the win, keep them hot, but it's hard to say.
Yeah, but I would like to think that they're not just going to bury Enzo and Cass more than they already have.
Part of me thinks that they are already in the works for moving up to the main roster, so they don't really care what they do with them in NXT at the moment.
Right.
Because they're leaving the bigger and better things. They might as well put some people over while they can.
Right, and that's definitely a match that they're in Brooklyn. They better have Enzo and Cass there. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are like guys that are going to go over like crazy in that place.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it was just, hey, we have all these new tag teams. How are we going to squeeze them all into the fucking night? So why not make it an 8-man tag team match?
Right.
So, all right. So, and then it looks like we get into the actual pay-per-view. Apollo Crews, a.k.a. Uhaa Nation, makes his debut versus Ty Dillinger. I was wondering who they were going to put him up against. And I'm surprised it's Ty Dillinger because it looked like they were starting to give him a push because they just had him beat Salmon Crow not too long ago.
Oh, I mean, he might still win. This one, I could not call. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some matches that you look at the booking and go, okay, this person's going to win.
I would be very surprised if Apollo Crews didn't win his debut match. That is not how you push someone. You know what I mean? Like, someone debuts, you don't just shit on them right from the start. unless your name's Triple H.
Or your name is Neville.
Did he lose his? He didn't lose his debut match, did he?
Yeah.
Really? Who do you go against for that?
Wasn't it like Seth Rollins? It was right after WrestleMania.
Oh, but it was for like yeah. I think I remember that. They were trying for a while there. It was like he would do really good matches and never win.
Right.
He's starting to get some wins now here and there.
Oh yeah, he got a win the other night against.
Neville's doing all right. At first I thought he was gonna flounder and fail, but lately he's putting on solid matches and he's getting some wins.
He's getting his name out there.
Yeah,
The little kids are going to start liking him soon, so...
I think this match at SummerSlam is definitely going to help.
Yep. I have to agree.
So, we'll talk more about that in SummerSlam segment. But anyway, so yeah, I'm going to pick Apollo Crews for this one. After that, we got Corbin versus Samoa Joe.
Don't care. Oh, God.
Piss break.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, thank God. I'm just going to go take a piss and grab a beer and come back and be like, it's still on.
Yep, just like we talked about last week.
Yeah.
NXT was good enough to realize, hey, our fans can't use the women's match as a piss break. Might as well give them Baron Corbin for that.
And Samoa Joe.
So I'm going to pick Baron Corbin because they're pushing this guy so hard, and he hasn't really lost yet. I mean, he lost to Neville, but that was sort of a cheat loss. Screw finish.
I'm actually going to pick Samoa Joe. And here's my reason behind it. If I'm right, his weird contract just ended. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, you know how he had, like, that weird contract where, yeah, he's with NXT, but you could still go fight on the indies? Pretty much just finish up his, previously signed bookings.
Yeah.
And if I'm right, his last booking just happened. So now he's full-time WWE. So it almost makes sense for them to be like, okay, now we're going to start pushing you more, like we're actually going to care about you. You're going to be more than just that guy who's there.
Honestly, I don't see them pushing him. I think he's gonna hover in NXT for a while, maybe make it to the main roster. We'll see, but I don't know. I don't think he's impressing people like they thought he would. He's definitely not impressing me. All he's done so far of note is almost kill Tyson Kidd.
No, yeah, I agree.
So, I don't know. I'm going to go with Baron. You're going to go with Samoa?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Blake and Murphy versus the Vaudevillains. I'm actually looking forward to this one.
So am I. This is actually one of the matches. I invited my friend Matt over for this Saturday. And he's like gone to the NXT shows with us. And I was like, dude, come on over. And I was just like going down like the list of people. I was like, oh, and Alexa Bliss is going to be there because I know that he likes her.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't blame him because the first time that he saw Alexa Bliss, like she was in a fight and it was badass. And that was pretty much it for him. And I was like, oh yeah, and Alexa Bliss is going to do something. Because really, like they've built that story up so much with the Vaudevillains and Alexa Bliss that they would be...
Yeah, they're really pushing the Alexa Bliss factor, and what are the Vaudevillains going to do to counteract that? So there's been a bunch of rumors out there. Some of my favorites are the Vaudevillains are going to kidnap her, tie her up on the railroad tracks like old-timey villains, which would definitely make sense character-wise, but technically they're the face in this match,
right.
So I don't think they're going to murder a woman as a face. You know what I mean?
You never know.
Another rumor is that they are going to get a female wrestler on their side to help them out. Could be one of the new women, or could be Blue Pants. What do you think about that?
That's a strong possibility. It is. I have another idea. I'm not sure if this has been going around on the internet, but what if she just turns? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if for some reason she switches sides in the middle of the match?
What would be her motive, though?
Whoever's winning.
I don't know. That's hard for me to believe. Because if I'm correct, I believe she's dating one of them. I forget if it's Blake or Murphy, but I believe she's dating one of them. So I don't think they'll split her up from them.
Oh, that doesn't matter. Poor Rusev and Lana. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just me just talking on my ass. But I definitely see it as a possibility there of, if for some reason something happens where she just changes sides, you know, and that could be the deciding factor of the fight. You know, maybe I'm just thinking too far into it and wanting this to be a lot better than it probably is going to be.
So, the match itself, I'm sure they'll put on a decent match, but the story of this match is what I'm looking forward to, which is you don't get that too much in wrestling, and it's pretty good when it does happen.
Oh, you do. You do get that. But it's from a company called Lucha Underground.
Also, I'm watching the wrong company.
Yes.
Okay. I'll have to check out Telemundo for that. Let's see here. Justin Thunder Liger versus Tyler Breeze.
Liger.
Liger? I'm going to pick Liger as well. I don't see him having any motive to come in to lose one match. So I think having him win as well strengthens their relationship with New Japan as well.
Right.
Tyler Breeze basically has nothing to really gain or lose from this match. Whereas if they do this, let Thunder Liger win, it gets the fans looking into other things they haven't really looked at before, and opens up the possibility for him coming back or other wrestlers from New Japan to come in, which is best for both companies.
Oh yeah, and really what this really is, don't fool yourself, is WWE going, fuck you, Ring of Honor.
Okay. Does every move the WWE makes secretly to screw someone else over?
When it comes...
Doesn't it seem like it? Whether it's screwing over a wrestler, a company, whoever
when
it
may comes to Ring of Honor, yes. Yes. Ring of Honor actually has a show in New York area the same day. And then at Comic-Con, after Ring of Honor already announced their show and started selling tickets,
yeah,
NXT is like, oh yeah, we're coming to Brooklyn Saturday. You know, it's like, come on, you guys are kind of dicks right now.
Well, did they have SummerSlam booked before then?
They did.
So, well, they're just so if WWE had SummerSlam booked first and then Ring of Honor came, I think that's fine for WWE to retaliate and say, fuck it, we're going to have NXT as well.
It is to some degree, but it's just a dick move. You know what I'm saying? Like WWE does not need the show to keep going. Ring of Honor is sort of at that point where, I mean, I'm sure they're doing a lot better than TNA, but, you know what I'm saying? But they're still at that point where they need everything they can get.
Yeah.
And WWE seems to be squeezing them out every chance they get. You know, it's like...
This was definitely a move to say, hey, don't fucking book in the same place, same weekend as us, you know?
Right. And I don't know, maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist, but like what was it? Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock, NXT is on. They didn't do that move. I mean, I think Ring of Honor came in after that, but
Yeah.
you know that someone in WWE heard a rumor. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just get this weird feeling that they just see this and they're like, fuck you, Ring of Honor. And I think this is all over a toy. I really think it's all over a Kevin Steen toy.
I wouldn't doubt it.
It's stupid, but, I mean, come on. You're telling me that Triple H is over there? Like once, like, someone like that pisses him off, he goes full Klingon on them, and he just goes out to destroy you.
Yeah.
That's... I mean, he's already half Klingon now. That was something that me and Lee were talking about earlier today. And we were just talking about how much he just looks like a Klingon. It's like, he's just like, maybe about 5 years later, he's going to look like Lieutenant Worf. His forehead is just going to take over, and that's it.
He just needs a nice tan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, after that, we got Sasha Banks versus Bayley for the Women's Championship. This should be a very good match. I would say match of the night if it wasn't for the main event.
One. Yeah. This one, I want to say Bayley. I really do, just because Sasha Banks is on the main roster.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure how permanent she is on the main roster. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing. Like, yeah, they brought up Kevin Owens. Yeah, they brought up Charlotte, Bayley, or not Bayley, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks. But that last group of people that they brought up, they're still all in NXT.
Yeah, NXT is a part-time gig. I mean, you tape once a month. So it makes sense that Kevin Owens and Sasha Banks could get the titles and be on the main roster as well.
Right.
So for Sasha Banks posted something along the lines of, you guys are idiots if you think I'm going to lose the belt. They have big plans for me coming soon, or something like that. And part of me wonders, are they going to let her keep the belt and then win it off of Nikki at not this pay-per-view, but the next one, and then unite the titles into a women's title or something like that?
I hope they don't unite the titles. That takes away the whole point of NXT. You know what I'm saying? Like NXT needs that woman's belt. It really
Unless
does.
they flip-flop the belts and send Divas belt down to NXT and keep the women's belt on the main roster.
That's a possibility.
That seems more accurate to me. Like, the Divas belt is sort of like the kiddie sort of, hey, you're on your way up belt, and then the women's belt is the more mature, this is the real deal sort of belt.
Right. It's like here, have fun with your butterfly.
Because if you think about it, if you're a badass woman who's going to be winning wrestling matches, do you want the women's belt or a Divas belt?
Right.
It sounds better, and it looks. I'm tired of the little butterfly belt anyway, so we'll see what they do. Maybe I don't think they'll get rid of Divas completely, because it's their brand for their show and all that jazz. So if they send it down to NXT, they can keep calling them Divas and still talk about the Divas belt. It's just on NXT.
Is the Divas, is Total Divas really doing that good though? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we watch it, but just because we watch it, is it really doing that good?
I have absolutely no fucking numbers to back up what I'm about to say, but from what I've seen, I think it's getting some good views. It's got renewed for what is season 4 it's about to be on. So, and it's on a shitty network, so I'm sure it's like posting some of the best ratings for whatever shitty network it's on.
Right.
So, I think it does good enough to where they pay attention to it.
Yeah.
And they want to keep that brand around.
I can see that. I can see it being better ratings than Tough Enough.
Oh, for sure. Fucking reruns of Scrubs gets better ratings than Tough Enough.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
And then so that definitely would be a good match. I think they're gonna give the belt to Bayley. I don't think they are thinking that far ahead and that much into the women's scene right now. I mean, yes, they're doing this revolution, but I don't think they're planning that big of a move. They'll probably just let Sasha gets the title off Nikki and then give Bayley the title now.
Did you, like, while we're talking about the Divas Revolution, did you happen to read the Mick Foley thing I posted on our Facebook page?
I didn't read the whole thing, but I saw it. It's Mick Foley is saying that there should be a women's pipe bomb.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, his whole thing is, he's like, yeah, you could call it a revolution all you want, but right now it's just business as usual. It's just you brought in more girls to do the same thing that you have been doing, which is not a lie. And he's just going, one of them, like, they just need like one woman wrestler to go out there and just blow everyone away. Have a great match, be good on the mic, and just tear it apart. And then once that happens, then it's officially a revolution.
There's two huge factors that I think are preventing this from it becoming a true revolution. First of all, is WWE the fans. The fans are not, the main roster fans are not giving them a chance. If you noticed on Raw, the Divas pretty much had the main event because there was no match after that.
Right.
And then they're fucking chanting for Lesnar and all these other chants that have nothing to do with the match. They should have been paying attention to the fucking match and giving them a chance.
Well, to be fair, I understood where they were coming from. It's because it was like one of those, it was like just another Nikki Bella match. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't a great match. It wasn't a bad match.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen her in some horrible matches. But it was just a Nikki Bella match. Like, there was nothing that stood out at all in that match going, I need to pay attention to this.
Yeah. Well, that brings me to my second point is that when they did this revolution, they kept, you can't start something new by keeping everything old. They should have said, here's what's going to happen. They should have brought in all the new women, took out and injured all the old women, and started a new sort of little division on their own so that they can really showcase what they're meant to do. Like, we should be seeing Charlotte versus Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch versus Charlotte. Like, it should be they should have given them a chance to really show off what they can do instead of keeping Naomi and the Bellas around. They're just dragging these matches down.
Right.
So they're not really getting a good shot to show what they can do against other women that know how to fucking wrestle.
And that's my whole thing. It's like, I was watching the match, and there was a couple good spots in it, but it wasn't like one of those things I was like, yeah, I'm captivated. Like, it was just like, this just feels like a normal Divas match. Like, it wasn't really a great match. Sasha Banks had a couple good moves. Nikki had a move, and really beyond that, like, it wasn't anything special.
Yeah. What I hope they're doing is phasing out the Bellas.
It will never happen.
So hear me out. The best thing they can do right now is give either Charlotte's team or Sasha Banks' team the win at SummerSlam. No way in hell should Team Bella win. Then, I'm guessing give Team Sasha the win. That way, Sasha has a reason to go up against Nikki at the next pay-per-view, which, I mean, she would have a reason either way because she's the NXT champion. But, so Sasha wins the title, and then she just wrecks all these she wrecks Naomi, the Bellas, Alicia Fox, whoever challenges her. So then we realize, oh shit, there's a new fucking King of the Hill. And then we start seeing Charlotte versus Sasha, Bayley versus Sasha, and those great matches, and they start putting on some good matches, and then it really turns into a revolution.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's just, I'm okay with the Bellas being there. I understand they're not just going to be like, okay, Bellas, you're gone. But they need to start maybe lowering their levels. You know,
they shouldn't be there every single night, and they shouldn't be the champions.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
So, it's funny because all these women on Total Diva are so worried about Eva Marie coming up and stealing their thunder when you got fucking 4 horsewomen coming up and gonna just steal the division right out from under them.
I think the difference is the girls from NXT that came up, they are wrestlers. You know what I'm saying? Like let's say someone came up to your job and they came up off the street and they're like, hey, this guy is taking your job over, train him, and then you're out. You know, or maybe not that way. Maybe you put in your 2-week notice and you say, okay, you have to train this guy before you leave, and then everyone's happy, blah, blah, blah. Or if there was someone that was under you, or someone that's been working there forever, you know what I'm saying? Like, what would you be happier doing?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You know, like, I think that's what it is they just look at Eva Marie as a complete outsider. Which they should.
Part of me thinks another reason why they're more mad at Eva Marie for coming up than Charlotte and Sasha is that they don't even look at themselves as wrestlers. You know what I mean?
Right.
They look at themselves as divas. And they don't consider the Charlotte and Sasha divas. They consider them wrestlers. So they think, oh, whatever, let them wrestle. We're still the top hot women in the company that's going to sell t-shirts and make money. And Eva Marie is on that level. Eva Marie is not a wrestler. She's a diva. So it's sort of turning into that, if that makes any sense.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
She's going to steal their hot woman side aspect of it, whereas they're not worried about Charlotte really doing that. Even though they're hot, if not hotter than them, in my opinion.
And I think it's because Paige already integrated herself in. You know what I'm saying? Like, and she pretty much has the same kind of background as, you know, the other NXT girls or wrestlers.
So do you think that the Bellas understand that, hey, this is WWE, they're not actually going to give these women a fucking chance in the long run, and we're just going to be on top because we're hot and whatever?
I think the Bellas understand that they're about to be leaving in the next 4 to 5 years.
4 to 5 years? I don't think they'll be around that long.
Exactly.
They're what, pushing 30, if not over already?
They're I think 31, 32.
Yeah, so they'll be around another year or two tops, and then they're gonna collect their husband retirement fund.
Right. So I mean, I think they just look at it and go, look, we're not going to be here much longer. And I think that's what's happening. And they're looking at like these newer faces, and they're going, well, you guys were all in NXT. You
They
guys
actually
all
deserve it.
right. I mean, it's not like the Bellas deserve it by any means.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because, like, really, what the fuck did the Bellas do? They came in, they got fired, they got rehired. They, one found John Cena and the other found Daniel Bryan. It's not really like they earned the spots that they're in right now. It's just they're in it.
Yeah.
And I think Nikki Bella itself, she got that championship because she's the exact opposite of AJ Lee.
So let me ask you this question. Now that Daniel Bryan's injured, possibly career over, do you think the thought has ever run through Brie Bella's head, man, when I was having that three-way with Daniel Bryan and Sheamus, maybe I should have went with Sheamus in the end, because he's still around, making money.
I don't think so.
No, you don't.
I think he probably annoys her.
Yeah. I don't know. Part of me feels like she's so fake, and she's just this way because Daniel Bryan is this way. I think if she would have ended up with Sheamus, she'd be fucking dressed like a fucking Irish woman right now.
Oh, like
going along with him.
Oh, I see what you're saying with that. I'm just saying, I don't think she would be able to put up with Sheamus.
Yeah.
Like I think the second that he says fella, like one too many times, I think she would just snap.
See, I agree. He is pretty fucking annoying, but imagine if Brie Bella thought she had no chance with Daniel Bryan. Is she gonna skip an opportunity at a pay bank with Sheamus?
Do you think it would be Sheamus though?
Well,
really?
who knows?
I know
There's probably
scenario.
3 other fucking guys in the room fucking her as well.
I know the scenario that you're going with, but I'm just saying, in the long run, do you think it would have been Sheamus? I think it would have probably been someone like Dolph Ziggler, or someone like that, who's like traditional good-looking type guy, which Daniel Bryan really isn't that. But you know what I'm saying, like, but I could see her going with like the traditional good-looking guy.
So what you're saying is you agree she's a gold digger, but she's a gold digger with standards.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and I don't think Sheamus is in those standards.
Okay, good to know.
Well, I mean, think about it. Like Daniel Bryan, he was on the rise in the company.
Yeah.
And it did turn out where, yeah, people fucking loved him. And that was a very organic climb for him. It wasn't a force down our throat Roman Reigns type thing from earlier this year. No, it was people really enjoyed watching him fight. They enjoyed hearing him on the mic. He's not even the best guy on the mic. He is not your best promo guy in the company by far.
Yeah,
but he has an energy, and it's a very honest energy, and people latch onto that. It's like you could tell the guy is having fun. He's doing what he wants to do.
He's relatable.
Right, he's living his dream. People live through him, to live their dream. They turn on Monday Night Raw and they go, "There's Daniel Bryan." He's like the everyman. And that's why it worked. Sheamus, on the other hand, is a stupid-ass gimmick on top of a horrible gimmick. Like for a while there, his whole gimmick was based off of a fucking kick. That was his gimmick, was he has a kick.
You're reading far too much into this. I'm just trying to say that she would have sucked his dick for some money.
Oh, she probably would have. I just like going off on Sheamus.
You're like going into his career, and I'm like, yeah. I'm just talking about him getting his dick sucked. What are we were talking about NXT, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens.
Owens.
I'm feeling Owens too, but I'm not. I don't know. I'm not sure. It wouldn't make
Because-
sense to have him lose again like that, but there's no one else for Finn Balor to go against, so why not give Kevin Owens the title again? Let him do his prize fighter routine for a while longer until they can get a Tommy back to feud with Balor or someone else. You know?
Right.
The only other
Right.
person would be Tyler Breeze, which I don't know. Did you see? You watched NXT, right?
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later, but I just wanted to comment on. Did you see Balor's face when he was like giving that angry face at Kevin Owens? Standing
I
on.
think so.
Did that seem really weird to you? His face looked like he was trying to look so angry, but it was like.
But he's a nice guy, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, it didn't make sense. Like, it looked like he was trying to put on a weird face, not an angry face. I don't know.
Right. Oh, no, I get it.
Yeah. But, I don't know. Yeah, this one's up in the air. It's going to be a good match, though. Either way. I wouldn't be surprised if either one of them won.
Yeah,
So-
like I just see it being Owens. Because
Yeah.
Balor's been champion, and what has he done?
You
know what I'm saying?
Squash
Like,
match. That's it.
He's done nothing. And it's a shame, because I really like Balor. Owens, he's champion.
He's only had it 1 month, though, which on NXT, 1 month is. You only get one taping, so in a month, you're only going to get one match, basically.
Not necessarily. There's some guys that are on, like, at least 2, like, every other episode. You know, it's like, yeah, it's double work for him that one night, but whatever. And... Because, like, Kevin Owens had more of a presence as a champion. Balor, they did a promo series leading up to that match. They made it into a special. And then after that, he won it. And you just haven't seen him.
Yeah.
It's just weird. Like, you're telling me at some point you couldn't just film him in a quick interview and edit it in somewhere? It's just like, you kind of forget that he's there. And you kind of forget that he's champion.
Yeah. Do you know the fucking Blake and Murphy have been tag champions for like 7 months now?
Yep.
I think their time's up. I think they're going to put it on the Vaudevillains for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the NXT card. It should be pretty good, I think. Besides the piss break for Baron Corbin and Samoa Joe, all the matches seem to be interesting. We got a debut match, couple 3 title matches, and Liger versus Breeze. So it should be pretty good.
Yeah, I think it'll be good.
All right. So you want to hop into SummerSlam then?
Oh, Jesus. Let's do this.
SummerSlam, 4 hours.
4-hour Raw.
Why not make it 5? Throw an hour of commercials in. Make more money. Make it 5. Fuck it.
They are doing 5. There's going to be a pre-show.
Well, then fuck it. Make it 6. Pre-show, throw in an hour of commercials.
Dude, the pre-show is going to be like 2.5 hours.
Okay,
Don't you worry about that shit.
So that puts us up to what, 8.5 hours?
I'm
Why
really
not have
hoping...
a pre-show? Just do a whole day fucking thing on ESPN.
And that's the other fucking thing is like ESPN is going to be filming from there. Like their Sports Center that day or whatever is going to be filming from SummerSlam.
Yeah, wasn't Brock Lesnar on ESPN?
Yeah.
Not to promote this?
Oh, well, that's where he announced his who he was going with, UFC or WWE.
Yeah.
Like WWE has a working relationship with ESPN, but WWE doesn't know how the fuck to use it. Because their big thing is it's wrestling, and ESPN is willing to look beyond that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well,
they're willing to go, okay, we'll give you guys a documentary. We'll let your champion come on our channel and say if he's going to UFC or WWE. You know what I'm saying? And that was a big thing to promote WrestleMania. And it seems like WWE just has ESPN in its grasp to the point where if they keep this up, like in the next 5 years, SportsCenter will have, clips of the main event. Something
Yeah.
like that. But the problem with that is WWE, like, once they move that, like, they'll take, like, 5 steps forward, they'll take another 50 back.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping SummerSlam is, like, the thing that's going to change it for them.
Yeah.
To where they take those 5 steps forward.
This will be the thing that changes for them. They got a lot of big matches, and the Arrow match should be really bring a lot of people in. A lot of interest in that match.
Jon Stewart's going to be hosting it.
Yeah, Jon Stewart.
Did you see that 100,000 people signed a petition online for Jon Stewart to host a debate?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, can you
But
imagine that guy?
Political, like the presidential thing?
Yeah, a presidential debate. Can you imagine him being the host of a presidential debate?
It would have to be all Democrats.
Oh, dude, I hope it's for the main one. No,
They
because
would.
there'd be no
That would never
bullshit
happen,
questions.
though. They'd consider it too unfair for the Republicans.
But there'd be no bullshit questions. And considering, I don't really want to get into politics, but I mean, I'm just thinking, like, both parties would be fucked. Both parties, because Stewart would be like, so you voted for this. Why do you think I would, like, what makes me think that you'll keep your word on your campaign trail even though your record says this? And just stuff like that. Like, it would be very direct and to the point.
Yeah.
Compared to, what's your favorite color?
Yeah. So anyway, ESPN. Now, the more I think about it, I have to say that if you look at wrestling in a certain way, it is a sport, and it should get some attention by ESPN and some of these sports companies. Because if you look at, for example, gymnastics.
Right.
Let's say you're doing a tumbling routine or something like that. That is equivalent to a wrestler doing a routine in the ring. They're both physical activities that require precise movement, years of training, and you have to do it precisely right or you're going to get hurt for real.
Right.
So if you look at it in that aspect, it is a sport. I sort of agree with them not calling it wrestling anymore because real wrestling is, real, but
I wouldn't
a
say
sport.
it's real. I wouldn't say it's real. It's just
No, I'm talking about like amateur wrestling where
like college.
Yeah, like Olympic
okay.
wrestling. Yeah, that's real. Whereas this is a sports, it truly is sports entertainment. It's a sport. It doesn't really have a definition because, there's nothing like it besides it's pro wrestling.
Right.
So in that aspect, I agree. The ESPN should be doing, when they show the top 10 plays of the day, it should be the top 10 moves of the day, because these wrestlers put their heart and souls in these matches, and they should get some recognition.
Right.
But I don't know. There's a lot of people out there that are just gonna say, "Oh, it's fucking stupid. It's not real." Blah blah blah. Not even give it. They won't even give it a shot. To if they actually sat down and thought like, "Hey, like yes, the match was scripted, but do you know what they had to do to put that match on and make it entertaining?"
So do you think Ronda Rousey, if she came to the WWE whenever she leaves UFC,
Yeah.
do you think that would help legitimize it? Or do you think that could actually hurt it in the long run? And maybe not hurt wrestling, but maybe hurt her.
I don't think it will legitimize wrestling, but I think it will definitely help bring in viewers.
But do you think it would hurt her or help her?
I think once her career in UFC is done, it'll definitely help her because it's either go to WWE or just retire.
Right, I'm just looking at it more as she goes to WWE. Who the hell is she going to fight?
That's believable.
Yes.
I could see her going against Charlotte or someone.
That's it. There you go. Charlotte.
I mean, Ronda Rousey's not really that big of a woman, is she? I believe she's what is it, bantamweight, or she's in one of the lower weight divisions.
Oh yeah. It's not really the weight class. It's just more or less her past 2 to 3 fights are a grand total of 90 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Like you take like that kind of stuff, and then you put her into a 10-minute wrestling match, and then she might lose. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't. I've been trying to wrap my head around this. Just being like, how would they make this work? Unless they do it as a pay-per-view type thing where she has the same UFC type contract. You know? And
there's a few ways they could do it. For example, let's say this scenario. She comes in, she destroys Becky Lynch a couple times. Then Becky Lynch is like, fine, one final chance. We're going to make it no disqualification. And then they bust out. She gets a good chair shot. She gets real technical with her moves, sort of, because they're going to make her, Ronda Rousey, even though I'm sure she has great ground game in real life, if she was to step in WWE, I'm sure they would make her sort of like Brock Lesnar, where she just straight up power moves. Right. So if you can get like a technical wrestler like Sasha or Becky Lynch to like sort of how we saw with Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns, how Daniel Bryan just was sort of confusing him with how technical he was getting.
Right.
If they can get that sort of aspect where they can make it look like Becky Lynch and Sasha are so good with their, technical wrestling and their submissions, maybe they can squeak out a win, if they get a good shot in here or there and just pull their heart out and maybe win after a long, gruesome match. I could believe that.
Yeah, I mean, like there's ways to get around it, I guess. It's just right now on paper, I'm looking at this like this is just going to be a bad thing for the Divas division.
The size difference is not as bad as well, though. Whereas
no. It's not. It has nothing to do with the size. It's just more or less the believability.
Well, to someone who doesn't know who Brock Lesnar is, if they see that huge fucking guy going against Seth Rollins right off the bat without knowing wrestling, that's not believable to them. But if you have someone like Charlotte, which I'm probably is taller than Ronda Rousey, go up against her, and they don't know either one, that's believable,
Right. But realistically, Ronda Rousey goes to WWE, that pay-per-view, or that, first debut of her, through the roof.
Oh, I'm sure they'd probably do it at WrestleMania, maybe SummerSlam. It's definitely going to be one of the big three, and it's going to be fucking huge.
Oh, yeah. Survivor Series.
I see no reason why she wouldn't come to WWE after she retires. I mean, she's probably got a good couple years, 2-3 years left at least in UFC, unless some freak thing happens and she loses to Chris Cyborg or something like that.
Or do you think that they would finally break the rule of women cannot fight men?
I could see that happening in WWE.
It's they've done it before. And it's like one of those things like that would actually kind of make sense. Brock Lesnar has kind of made comments about that kind of thing already. this past week, I think.
Yeah.
Where
I could
so
see her
it's
being the next, like an Intercontinental Champion or something
right.
like that.
That almost seems more fitting for her
Yeah.
than for her to go deal with the cat fights of Divas.
She could basically take what China did, but elevate it to the next level because she's not gonna go turn into a crazy porn star.
I mean, she might. You never put that
I
past
wouldn't
people.
complain, but
There's actually, talking about that, there's actually a porn based off of her.
is there?
It's going to be called Ronda Arouse Me.
I'll give the porn industry that they come up with some creative names.
And I guess she's just like, whatever. Like, she just thinks that's funny.
Yeah.
Because I saw it pop up on Facebook, and I was like, what? Of course, like, I have to click that one. I was like, oh,
Well,
right, clickbait.
speaking of the porn industry, Team Sorority Sisters had to change their name pretty quick because I guess we talked about that. There was a porn site or a porn series called Submission Sorority. So now they're Team PCB, which is not much better because it sounds like PCP, like you were saying.
Right, yeah, it's just PCP. That's how I'm going to refer to them as now. It's just PCP.
So, well, let's just start off with that match then. We got Team Bella versus Team Bad versus Team PCP.
I don't even know. I don't even know where to begin with that.
I'm going to say 5% chance Team Bella wins, 50% chance Team Bad wins, 45% chance PCP wins.
That makes sense. This is an elimination match. So pretty much once one of them gets pinned, that whole team is gone.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking this will probably be, maybe a 10, 15-minute match. This is a 4-hour show, and they're going to have to fill out the space somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So what better way to do it than in this crazy elimination match with 9 people? So I figure about 10 minutes before the first person gets eliminated. And that first person that gets eliminated will be Alicia Fox. And then you'll probably start seeing that whole thing fall apart. Just right there, because Alicia Fox lost.
For sure. Alicia Fox and Tamina are going to be the 2 pinned from those 2 teams, probably, if they get pinned. The whole team is eliminated if someone gets pinned.
Right. So that way we get some kind of drama within the teams.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. But, I mean, it really doesn't matter. As long as Team Bella doesn't win, I'm fine with this match. Either way. After that, we got Dolph Ziggler versus Rusev. Now, they didn't really give this match... It didn't really get a chance to build properly because Ziggler was sort of doing his contract negotiations. So he just sort of came back at the last second for this.
I don't think it would have mattered.
Yeah, probably not. I'm not
They
too excited.
started building. I would say that this one has definitely had time to build, and it's been nothing great. It's like what happened there? It's like Lana and Rusev break up. Lana decides, hey, I'm gonna date Dolph Ziggler and let my hair down in a ponytail, and then after that you get Summer Rae just out of nowhere, just kind of creepily going up to Rusev while he has a broken ankle and being like, I'm Summer Rae. And then, like, the next week she comes in dressed like Lana. It's like, it's a stupid story.
Yeah.
Just whatever. Like I was invested in it at the very beginning.
I
was like, oh, all right, maybe we'll see something cool with Lana.
They are so desperate to do something with Lana.
You know what this reminds me of? I'm not sure if you remember this, but Mark Marrow and Sable.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of. It's like one of those things it's not going to go away.
The difference is Sable could wrestle somewhat, and Lana cannot at all.
I would say they're equal. They're definitely equal. Lana's not
What,
doing
Sable and
horrible.
Lana?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no way. No way.
Oh, at the very beginning? Definitely. Definitely. Like, if you go back and you start watching around, when was that? Like, maybe late 96, early 97? Sable was there because she had big boobs. That was it. Like, she was like that Baywatch bleach blonde, big tit girl who they threw out there with Mark Marrow. She wasn't supposed to be a wrestler or anything. And then over time, she started getting over. Sort of like Lana, who wasn't supposed to really be anything but a manager, and then she started getting over. And now you're going to see Lana start doing stuff gradually.
I don't think they're going to put Lana in a wrestling ring to wrestle.
You never know. You never know. Like, I didn't watch SmackDown tonight, and I wouldn't be surprised if they changed the stipulation to where it's a mixed tag. I mean, they probably didn't. I'm just saying I would not be surprised.
Yeah. Well, this is another match where the story's more important than the match.
Oh,
but
yeah.
in this case, the fucking story's garbage, so
Very much so.
don't care. So, let's see. Next, we got the Primetime Players versus Los Matadores versus the Lucha Dragons versus the New Day. And all I gotta say is New Day rocks. They are going to take this one.
Yeah, sure. Really,
Well,
so far,
where's the positivity, Richard?
so
You
far,
gotta have the
so
positivity.
So far, the first three matches that we have talked about, I feel like we have just talked about, like, the fucked up flipper baby matches of Raw. I mean, it's like, it's not going to be horrible. This is not going to be a bad match, but it's not going to be a match I care about either. It's just, whatever. New Day would probably be cool to see win. Why not? Like, they're entertaining at least.
Xavier is gonna kill it on the mic, outside the ring, and New Day is gonna do their shenanigans and pull this one out and get the titles. And it's gonna be a new day. Oh yes, it is. Then we got Kevin Owens versus Cesaro, the Swiss Superman.
Oh, Cesaro.
Now,
Well, here's why I'm going Cesaro. I went Owens at NXT,
yeah.
and I would like to see, like, it'd be cool to see Owens win 2 nights in a row. But let's get real. The guy's doing a ladder match the night before, and now he's going to go into a match against Cesaro, which is, like, one of the strongest guys, like, legitimately, like, one of the strongest guys on the roster. I don't know. But with that being said, I'm also really worried for Cesaro because Owens is in that ladder match the night before. And ladder matches are not what you would call the safest matches.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's two... the reason why I like ladder matches is because there is the unpredictability. But with that being said, they are more dangerous. Like, there is a lot more high risk involved.
So how does that translate to being worried about Cesaro?
Okay, so if Owens gets hurt somehow, Cesaro's out of a match. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to see that happen.
They could easily throw fucking somebody. I don't know. Who else was in that feud? Oh, it was Rusev, so they can't do that.
What they could do is they could throw Cesaro and make it a triple threat match.
Throw him in with Randy Orton and Sheamus, maybe?
That could work, or they could throw him in with the Rusev and Ziggler.
That wouldn't make sense, because there's actually a story to it. Whereas Randy Orton and Sheamus is, hey guys, you've only had a pay-per-view match 25 times. Let's go for 26.
All that Orton match is haha, you're not going to be 16.
So, I don't know. This is very hard because if you're booking this, how would you book it? Because you either can let Kevin Owens win both, let Kevin Owens lose both, or split it?
I think it's going to be split. But I think it's going to be based off of the NXT one. So
How do you justify the NXT champion losing to Cesaro?
he's stronger. NXT is a
I guess it does make
developmental.
sense. If
Yeah,
he
you could
just had a
always-
brutal match the night before, so
Right, and you could always say NXT is a developmental territory, or promotion, whatever it is, and yeah, this is, you're in the big boys club now, buddy.
it's tricky because I think I would have to go with that because Finn Balor doesn't really need to push right now. He can lose and then they could set up another storyline with him and Kevin Owens. Whereas Kevin Owens and Cesaro both need a win right now.
Right.
So, because Kevin Owens hasn't won shit really since he beat John Cena that first time,
Yeah.
and Cesaro needs a push. So yeah, I think that would be the best way to go. So we'll go with that. Let's see. Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper versus Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. So the Wyatt family versus the Shitty Shield. The two-member Shield.
I'm going to go Wyatt.
I'm going to go Wyatt as well. I enjoy the Wyatt family. Luke Harper is one of my favorite wrestlers at the moment. I really hope he gets a push someday. And I feel like Dean Ambrose is going to turn on Roman Reigns. Something big is going to happen with this match.
Mm-hmm. And see, this is one of those matches that I'm actually looking forward to. Just because there is a story to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like this is something that happened. What was the last pay-per-view? Battleground?
Yeah.
Like, this is a story that's been going on since before that like led into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, now we're going to get a tag team version of the match that we just had. And it's not as creepy as the other one. Like, Bray Wyatt hasn't been like, I'm taking pictures of Renee Young in a bathtub. Or like he's not like stalking like Renee Young.
Well, the
He's not
focus has
stalking-
been on Roman Reigns, really. So
Right.
that also leads into Dean Ambrose turning on him. And didn't Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt had a feud not too long ago, and I believe Bray Wyatt won pretty much every single one of those matches. So it makes sense for Dean to be like, look, the guy's unstoppable. He beat me all these times, and so I'm going to go with him, or something along those lines. The guy's just fucking crazy, so he can do whatever, and it's justified by his character.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting. I don't really... What I hope they don't do is when we have Dean Ambrose, Luke Harper, and Bray Wyatt together, and Roman Reigns is all by himself, hey, let's fucking have Sting team up with Roman Reigns at Survivor Series to go up against Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt, or something like that.
Right.
So, we'll see how that goes. Let's see. Then we get to Randy Orton and Sheamus, and now we're off of Randy Orton and Sheamus.
Yeah, that's going to be there. Whatever. Next match.
Next match, Ryback versus Big Show versus Miz for the IC title. Next match. Then Green Arrow with the Red Arrow versus Stardust and King Barrett.
All right. This one could be good.
Did you see the promo on Raw by Stardust and Barrett?
Yeah.
That was fucking gold.
Well, Cody Rhodes is good at whatever he does.
I really, really hope they let him drop Stardust gimmick and come back as himself or a different gimmick at Royal Rumble. Because the guy he deserves a really good push, especially after his father died. And the Stardust gimmick is okay, but he needs to go on his own and do his own thing.
Stardust works when there's gold dust. But there is no gold dust.
Yeah, Goldust, I don't know, has he officially retired or is he still injured?
I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know either. But there is no way in hell that Neville and Green Arrow lose this match. No way.
I would like to think that if Goldust retired, that they would make a big deal.
Yeah. You would hope so.
Like, they made a big deal about Layla retiring.
I believe he was going to try to retire at WrestleMania after fighting his brother at WrestleMania because they had a feud going there, but then it sort of fizzled out, and they ended up not doing the match, and then he got injured shortly after, I think. So he might be retired or about to be retired. We'll see how that goes. He might get one last retirement run.
He deserves it, man.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys, like, I would love to see him fight again. But as we've talked before, you've been there. Let younger guys come in.
Honestly, he was putting on some good fucking matches.
He was.
I mean, he was in shape. He was doing a good job. Him and his brother together were a good team.
Oh, I agree. But it's still like one of those things where it's like, dude, you've been here for the past 20 years.
Yeah.
I'm okay if you're not there anymore. You know, he was definitely having some of the best matches of his career. I'm not taking that away from him. I'm just saying it's time to let new guys come in.
Yeah.
You know, and the best way to do that is to get the old guys out. As much as it sucks to be like, okay, Goldust, you're good. But, you know, maybe you could mentor some of these other guys, be around for that kind of capacity, as we fade you out slowly, and then you could retire, everyone's happy.
Yeah.
You know, but the thing is I have a feeling that they're never going to retire. Well, at least he's never going to retire. Cody Rhodes will never retire. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, Dusty Rhodes, he retired from wrestling, but he was working to the day he died.
Yeah.
Literally.
They're always going to be in the business.
Right.
One way or another.
Exactly. And that's not a bad thing. It's just, do I want to see these guys on TV every week after a certain age? Not necessarily. I'm okay with them, you know, working in developmental. I'm okay with them taking a ring announcer spot, you know, or a commentary team spot. Totally okay with that. But it's time to, like Goldust, I really like. You know, and I was always happy to see him, but it's just one of those things where I'm looking at this going, maybe it's time to say goodbye.
See, and I don't think that time's quite here yet, because he was still putting on decent matches. It wasn't like he was walking out there like fucking Ric Flair or Hulk Hogan. If you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
But, I don't know.
I do.
I think he's done, though. We'll see if he comes back. Then, John Cena versus Seth Rollins, title for title. I will be very surprised if either one of them walk out of here with both titles. It's going to be a fuck finish.
I have to agree.
There's no way that you can put two titles on one person like that, because then you have to drop the U.S. title, or you have to drop one of the titles. And if you're going to drop one, unless John Cena gives Seth Rollins a rematch for the World Heavyweight title only, and then Seth Rollins takes it back.
Right.
Or what could happen is John Cena wins the World Heavyweight title, and then fucking Sheamus cashes in or something and takes it right off him.
Mm-hmm.
That could happen. Or, you know what would be fucking funny? If Rollins takes the U.S. title off of Cena, and then Sheamus cashes in, and they end up screwing Sheamus into giving him the U.S. title instead of the World Heavyweight title.
That would be really funny, actually. But do you really want to lower the U.S. title to Sheamus?
I don't want to lower any title to Sheamus. I wouldn't even want to see the Divas title on his ass.
No. I mean, that's all John Cena anyway. He's gonna get it, but
Yeah, he's gonna get number 16, and then he'll probably get screwed out of it or something.
Yeah, Ric Flair's gonna be there. It's gonna happen.
Yeah. Oh, did he say he's gonna be there?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they announced that Ric Flair was gonna be there.
Oh yeah, he's gonna get it then.
I feel like they did. Like,
Well, we're one step closer to our ultimate prediction of him obtaining every title at the same time.
oh yeah, he'll be the first person to do it. They'll have to start making other titles, just so other people have them, because John Cena will never lose.
Yeah, they'll bring back the fucking the light heavyweight title, and he'll have the heavyweight and the light heavyweight at the same time, and it'll make perfect sense because wrestling isn't real, right?
Right.
And then we got Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker. And you know who I'm picking for this match.
Yeah. I'm going to pick Lesnar.
I'm picking The Undertaker. And the reason why is because it makes no sense for him to come back and lose. And I feel like he's sort of being the heel right now because he's just low-blowing Brock Lesnar every chance he gets.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if Undertaker came back as Biker Undertaker. And because I believe they contacted Fred Durst to see if he would sing at SummerSlam. So I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up getting on there. Or, well, I believe Fred Durst said he turned it down originally, but
yeah.
Why the fuck would Fred Durst turn down a paycheck right now? What the fuck is he doing that's making him so much money?
Artist integrity. Artist integrity.
So you're telling me Fred Durst has too much artist integrity to turn down a SummerSlam paycheck?
Yes.
I think there's much more believable stuff happening on SummerSlam than that. Like Dolph Ziggler and Rusev it's a real love triangle. Sure it is. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think something's gonna happen. I think Mass Kane's gonna come back. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Whatever they do,
we can hope.
We can hope.
Hopefully,
hope. There's two ways this match is gonna go. Option A. It's a fucking shitty match between an old man and a guy who's gonna fucking cripple him. Option B. Yeah. It turns into a fucking true wrestling spectacular and we get fucking Mass Kane, Biker Undertaker, maybe stays as, regular Undertaker, but does some fucking lightning or some fucking crazy shit and wins the match some other way.
I'm not so sure if Biker Undertaker is a good thing. Like, I'm sorry, I just hated that gimmick.
I think a lot of people did, and that's why it's going to work, because he's supposed to be heel right now.
I get that, but just don't do it. No. No. I'm not sure if you noticed this. So, on Raw, whenever Undertaker came out.
Yeah.
Did you notice his hair?
Yeah, he's going bald.
well, it's not really the bald. Whatever, he's been doing that for years.
Yeah.
No, his hair is very much the same color as Sting's hair. And I don't remember Undertaker ever having, like, black hair. His hair was always, like, darkish.
It was like a brownish reddish, like a dark brownish reddish. Because
right.
he had red hair at one point, I believe. Didn't he? Wasn't he called like the Mean Ginger or something like that originally?
Yeah, something like that, like in WCW.
So yeah, he just dyed his hair black though. I don't think there's anything.
No, it's just
look into that,
it's just one of those things. No, it's something to look into. It just looks weird.
But if you're gonna dye your hair, if you have gray hair and you're gonna dye it, what color are you going to dye it? You know? Black is just going to be the easiest, I think.
I would think try to get it close to my original color.
I don't know. It's just easier.
Or
I don't know.
Or how much more badass would it be if he came out with just gray hair? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's the fucking dead man. He's the dead man. It looks like a zombie now. You know, like, come on. Sell that shit. You're how old? Come on, just sell it. Accept it. Don't, like, it just looks weird. It looks really weird.
So, I don't know why this even popped into my head, but, so, WrestleMania, Undertaker's retirement match. Do you think they will have a hologram Paul Bearer going down the ramp with him?
I don't think it'll be going down the ramp with him.
It'll just be standing there?
I think it won't come up until he wins. You know what I'm saying? Like once Undertaker wins, it's going to be one of those standing ovation type matches. Especially if he announces this is my last match. It's going to, no matter what happens, he will probably have to win it. And
no, he'll lose.
Well, the reason why I say that he might lose it is just because he might get injured. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm keeping the realistic side of me going. So, but if he does win it, like he's supposed to, or you would think he was supposed to win it, I definitely see them doing like a Paul Bearer like in the middle of the ring while Undertaker goes to the corners.
So, I think there's going to go one of two ways. Either he's going to fight Kane, and they're both going to lose, and they're both going to retire. And, you know, they get their standing ovation for their excellent final match together, blah, blah, blah. Or he's going to go up against someone that I can't even think of anyone in the roster right now. Someone like a Shawn Michaels that's going to give him a fucking excellent match, and they're going to wow the crowd, and Undertaker's going to lose the match and propel that superstar into the next level. Right. Now, the reason why I say I think Undertaker's going to lose his last match either way is because Undertaker is how do I explain it? He is
a company man.
A company man. It's a wrestling tradition to lose your final match. I've read somewhere, and he is all about wrestling tradition. You know what I mean?
Right.
I definitely think he's going to lose his final match to put that next person over, you know?
Right.
Just like Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels, they all lose their final match, you know?
Right.
That's just how it goes. But
oh no, it makes sense.
Yeah, so I don't know. Back to SummerSlam. Hopefully it's a good match. It's either going to be really good or really fucking shitty. So I got my hopes up though, because it's The Undertaker.
Yeah. I've talked about it before.
We could talk about Undertaker all night, and we will actually talk about more Undertaker after our break.
Yeah. First, before we go to our break, I recorded an interview with Randy Carver. He's an announcer for IWE, and he's starting his own promotion called Limitless Wrestling. And we had a little talk, and I'm going to throw that in here, and then we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back after these messages.
What's up, Limitless Wrestling? My name is Chuck Cold Steel O'Neal. I'm a professional MMA fighter with a pro record of 15 wins and 7 losses. Recently, I've been making my transition over to the world of professional wrestling, a passion of mine. I've been legitimately training and working hard to be the best at this sport that I can be. I'm going to tell you this, at Stage 1 for Limitless Wrestling, September 12th in Brewer, Maine, I'm coming to make an open challenge to anyone who wants to step into that ring with me and see what happens with a real professional.
We have Randy Carver from IWE and Limitless Wrestling. He is an announcer with IWE and a promoter for Limitless Wrestling. Randy, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, man. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm great, man.
So how did you decide to start your own promotion with Limitless Wrestling?
I've been around, the wrestling business for a couple of years now, and I think promoting and, owning my own company is something that I always wanted to do, and I kind of knew that from day one, so I took my first couple of years to get a lot of experience with working with talent and, making connections with people so that now, I'm starting September 12th as a debut event, and to finally get things kicked off feels great, and to just, do something different in an area that doesn't necessarily have an oversaturation of wrestling is great.
What kind of wrestlers did you actually get for your own promotion?
Well, I'll run down through the card real quick. A lot of the guys that are, from around the New England area, some outside of it. We have a lot of guys from the House of Glory Wrestling School with Amazing Red runs. But the main event is Ace Romero versus Alex Mason, which is a match that's been scheduled to happen in the state of Maine for IWE a couple times, but due to date conflicts or injuries, it never happened. So it's finally going down as the main event of our debut show, Stage 1. The co-main event is the White Light Scott Wilde versus the Firebrand Brian Fury. Fury's appeared in Ring of Honor and Takara several times, so it'll be a good test for Scott Wilde. We got four-way tag action conducted under Lucha rules. A couple teams you might have seen in Beyond Wrestling, if anyone listening is familiar. The Minutemen versus the Influence versus the Cute and Brew Connection versus the Falcon Corps from House of Glory. So it'll be an interesting clash of styles, definitely in that four-way. We've got New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Famer, 18-year veteran, the Boston Bad Boy, Jason Rumble, versus the Killer from Queens, good Hank Flanders. Man, I'm forgetting my own matches. That's pretty bad. We got a special return match. Kenny Banks, who was around the Maine and New England wrestling scene for quite some time as Legion Freaking Cage. He returns to the main wrestling ring after a 7-year absence to face Christian Casanova. Ken Banks actually returned March 20th in Massachusetts for NCW, and he actually did return against Christian Casanova. Christian ended up coming out on top in that encounter, so we're doing the rematch on September 12th, and we'll see if Ken Banks can pull it out this time. And then also appearing at Stage 1 will be former CES MMA welterweight champion Cold Steel Chuck O'Neal, Xavier Bell, Brick Mass Stone, Top Shelf Troy Nelson, the Elite Athlete Mike Orlando, Isaiah Cassidy, and many more. So it's definitely a mixed bag of talent, because there's just all types of different styles, all types of different characters, but I think that's the best way to be with any promotion.
Yeah, and it sounds like that you actually have it like jam-packed with people.
Oh yeah, I'm very happy to be oversaturated with talent for the show. I'm a firm believer in having all flavors of ice cream on one event if you can help it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was at Absolution X, and that's exactly what they did as well.
I'm sure that was a fantastic show. They kill it every time.
Oh, they do. They do. That's like one of the upsides of living in Cleveland, really, is AIW.
Is there a lot of wrestling there, or is it just really AIW?
There's actually, I want to say, one or two more smaller promotions.
Okay.
I have a friend that actually wrestles in one of them, and I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, nice.
But, yeah, it's pretty nice up here. Like I would say Cleveland is sort of like a smart city. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like New York or Philly or anything like that, but I would say, like, the fans that are really into it up here.
That's always good to have. It's good to have, hotbed wrestling towns, because I think that's It had an unpopular period professional wrestling did for quite some time,
Right.
within the middle to late, up to recently. I think independent wrestling is really kicking off within the past couple of years.
Oh yeah, I think some of it has to do with NXT.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because I think that made people aware of there is indie wrestling.
Right.
And now we're with what is it? Now we're with like the Wednesday nights with like Ring of Honor, TNA, NXT, and we have Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
So we actually have like 3 promotions that are smaller. And people are definitely noticing, I think.
Right, and I think it's good for these companies they're giving out some more free content because the internet has become such a huge place of promotion. I think Beyond Wrestling does it fantastic. They release a free match every week, and I've seen, I believe CZW has their own. You can sign up for some kind of web series now where you can see like free shows if you sign up for like a month or something. And I think AIW does something similar as well, which I think is a fantastic idea.
Yeah, talking about that, are you going to be filming Limitless Wrestling on September 12th?
Yeah, definitely. It'll all be available for DVD purchase, and we will be releasing some free content from that show on our YouTube page.
Excellent. I will definitely be linking that on my Facebook.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. And you're with IWE. You said that earlier before we started recording. You're saying that you're in the middle of like a 10-date tour?
Yeah, we're doing IWE is Independent Wrestling Entertainment. They've been in Maine for about 7 years now. There's not really a oversaturation in Maine. They've been the top, not necessarily the top, but pretty much the only company around for quite some time. There's GIW, which does a lot of fundraising shows in Maine right now, and then I'm starting Limitless, which is just coming up on September 12th. But up till now, they've had few companies for competition. They're actually going back on TV pretty soon, which is fantastic. But yeah, we're in the middle of a 10-day tour right now at the Skowhegan State Fair in Maine. It's always fun to do. It's actually been, the attendance of the fair has gone down, but I think it's been like 100 degrees on a couple days in this tour, so I think that's why it's deterred some people. But we've got a show, we're finishing out. We got tomorrow, we have a 5:30 show, and then Saturday we have a 3 o'clock show.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty nice.
Oh, yeah, I love fair, if there's any fair tours or even just random fair dates, because it's always a guaranteed crowd that usually has a great time.
Oh yeah, because that's gonna be like a mixed bag of people too, because you're at a fair, and there's people there just to see like the animals and ride the Ferris wheel or whatever.
Right, and then they just walk by and they see wrestling going on. Some people might not have seen it before. Some people might have watched it when they were a kid on Saturday mornings, but then when they see it again, it's something that draws people in because it's something really different. If you don't watch it and you see it going on, it's something so different that you definitely want to check it out.
Right, because I was just thinking about that. Like all those little kids are going to make their parents stop.
Oh, definitely, and they're going to want to get a T-shirt with the logo on it, and then from there they're going to let's go to shows, and it always it's a good place to really get the word out of your promotion and your wrestlers to a new set of eyes.
Now, do you see Limitless doing that maybe within the next couple years?
Oh yeah, I'm looking to get out wherever I can. I have a close relationship with IWE and GIW, so maybe even cross promotion shows, but I'm looking to definitely, get my stuff out there with DVDs and free content on YouTube and build a good following so that I just have it be a platform for some young guys and maybe some guys who don't necessarily get chances around the New England area that can just have this platform to have their footage be seen, have stuff they can send around, and just have some killer matches.
Right. Like I almost feel like indie wrestling right now is bringing back the old promotion days. You know what I'm saying? Like the old regional promotions,
Yeah.
because like you go and you watch the WWE Network, and they'll talk about, like the WWE up in New England area. Then they'll talk about, just like the NWA breakdown, and it almost feels like that's happening all over again. It's because like Cleveland has AIW.
Right.
I can't think of any of them off the top of my head. I was about to say GFW, but that's not one of them.
Right. It's not a lot of promotions necessarily hit the road anymore, so to speak. They kind of they might find a building or an area that suits their needs, and they don't necessarily move from that, if that makes sense.
Right.
Actually, a good example of that, Beyond Wrestling, they 2013 they had their big show, American Rana, in Providence, Rhode Island at Fat Music, and they kind of just stayed put there. They didn't do a show except for their secret show tapings in North Andover and wherever, but for actual live, their big events, they didn't really have any other shows anywhere else but Providence. And then they just announced that they're hitting the road in September. They're hitting Massachusetts, which I think will be great for them now that they've got a lot of exposure.
Now, what do you think is like making them to take that idea to go to Massachusetts?
I think it's definitely the demand. They've broadened their fan base steadily over the past couple of years, because before that American Rana 2013, that was the first show I ever attended of theirs, because it was a can't miss show if you were in the New England area, and they packed the house that night. And then from there, they just raised the bar, because before that, they had solid shows. They were running some. They tried New York, they tried Massachusetts. They were in Ohio actually originally, but nothing seemed to really stick to really bring a consistent, wrestling loving fan base in. And then they caught that in Providence. But I think now they've really, they have tons of likes on Facebook, tons of subscribers on YouTube, and people who really want to see Beyond Wrestling closer to their town. And I think they realize they have a lot of people who travel from Mass anyways. So if they can get a good street team together, really get the word out, I think that Massachusetts show will be a success.
Yeah, that's the other thing that's like had a huge play in it, I think, is like just social media.
Oh yeah, it's totally like, I wouldn't say it's the only form of promotion that works now, because it's definitely not. You still got to do the footwork with it, but it's such a key now to have a good social media platform to, because a lot of people, if you want to, if someone in Texas wants to find out about you and you don't have a social media account on anything, you're not going to sell that DVD to that person or that T-shirt to get that exposure. They're not going to see your YouTube videos. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, because like I know I have friends that are in Europe. I have a friend in like the UK.
Yeah.
He'll post stuff that's happening there, like just like wrestling videos from local promotions from over there.
Right.
And it's crazy to think about that now. It's like I'm sitting here just in my living room just watching a video of some small promotion that, about 15 years ago I would never have even heard of, let alone watch a video of.
It's crazy, because I can, you can log onto YouTube and you can watch, Wrestler 1 versus Wrestler 2 from Cleveland, Ohio, or you can watch, Wrestler 1 versus Wrestler 2 from England. It's crazy how much, and I think it's better for companies now to put out some more content, whether it's full matches or just sequences within matches. The more people are watching your stuff, the better.
Oh yeah, I agree. That's the whole thing. It's like you have to like figure out like your niche audience, and then from there grow it. Because the second that someone likes something on Facebook, most of their friends will end up seeing it at some point as, hey, that person liked that.
Right.
And you might pick up another 2 people.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You just gotta have the, figure out what's hitting and what's not. I think Facebook is a good indicator as well, because if you put a Facebook video up, you can tell how many views it has right under it. I think I think that seems to be more accurate some of the times than YouTube does, because for some reason the YouTube, the view counter gets stuck sometimes. It's weird stuff. I don't know about it.
Yeah, and like YouTube is also just kind of icky at times.
Oh yeah, definitely. It can get frustrating.
Right. Like, it seems like Facebook, at least from my experience with Facebook, you're able to see how many clicks, and you're able to see, like, the graphs instantly of, how
who
many people
sees
are
it?
coming. Yeah.
Right. That's always helpful.
So, are there any wrestlers that you definitely enjoy watching night in and night out while you're on this tour?
There's a few. It's a lot of local guys that we're working with because it's tough for people if they're coming out of state or anything they might be missing work or whatever. But there's a few that are very good. Jason Rumble, one of my favorites. That's a local guy. He's been wrestling all over New England. He's a 3-time NWA Junior Heavyweight Champion. He's done a few dates on this tour, and he's always fun to watch. There's a crew that's up from the New Jersey, New York area that's been fun to watch. The Caveman, E.A. James from House of Glory, Desmond Monroe, Richie Christopoulos, and Buff John Graber. They're all from that area. Always fun to watch. And, there's the IWE mainstays, which is like J-Rock Primer, Levi Lexington, who's a nice, very good up-and-comer from the IWE compound, which is their training facility. There's a lot and Callie Crew, who's I think the only woman wrestler in the state of Maine at this point. All fun to watch.
So she's probably like an intergender wrestler, I'm guessing.
Very much so. New England's tough to really, get female talent because, there's Maximum Mecca is just coming on the scene from Kevin Landry's school in the Massachusetts, Connecticut area. And then there's Mistress Belmont, Delmy XO, Ariella Nix from New York. But however, if let's say, there's an IWE show one weekend, there might be a Lucky Pro show and maybe a Chaotic Wrestling show on the same day. So, those women are going to get booked pretty quick.
Right.
So it's tough to, especially in Maine, to get them to travel, I don't know, maybe 4 to 6 hours one way and 4 to 6 hours home. So it is tough. She does a lot of intergender wrestling. I think probably 90% of the matches she's had have been intergender, but it's a very interesting concept and an interesting way to be brought into the business, I think, and she's done a very good job at that.
It is. Something that I know me and Tyler will end up talking about later. But on Total Divas, like, Eva Marie was training with Brian Kendrick. And one of the things that they were all the other, like, girl wrestlers or, like, women wrestlers were bitching about was that she's training with a man. And because of that, she's going to be rougher with them.
I don't think that's the case.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
But it was just like an interesting concept, and now that, we're talking about it, that instantly came in my mind.
Right.
Because I think if you learn...
Huh?
I just believe that if you learn how to take a bump, you learn how to take a bump. It doesn't matter who's giving it to you.
Right. I think the head isn't one of the trainers now at the performance centers, Sarah Del Rey, I believe, and
yeah,
she did a plethora of matches, intergender matches. I don't know. I think wrestling's wrestling. A lot of people, Maine is tough with intergender wrestling, which kind of sucks. But a lot of people, they see it as a man beating a woman, or they don't see it as fair. But I'm pro intergender wrestling, pro just professional wrestling. I think intergender wrestling is wrestling, and it's definitely something that I'm going to promote in the future because it hits, it's great, it works with people, and I think it's a great test and great to put women on the same platform as men are, because I think that's the way it should be. Exactly.
Well, this is also interesting. I posted something to a couple of my friends that are more like like on the feminist side.
Right.
And this was right after Absolution X, and I posted the Candice LeRae bump that she took.
Oh, that was crazy.
And I was just like, hey, I'm interested in seeing what you guys think about this. You know, and I explained to him, I was like, she's wrestling with the guys. It's a complete fair field. You know, and the way how I explained it, like, everyone was just like, yeah, this is fair. It's like, she knows what she's getting into. It's a safe setting for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, wrestling does have, you know, its unsafe parts, but for the most part, it's a very safe setting.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
and that's why I think AIW does the Battle of the Sexes.
They do.
I think that's a very neat concept.
Yeah. I've seen a couple of those. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a great way to promote intergender wrestling, and just, you know, as a whole show under that banner is very neat.
I'm not going to lie, every time, the very first match, whenever I see that guy hit a girl, I'm like, I cringe for a second. But then after that, I see what happens, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It's fair game. You know, I think it's just, you know, something inside me is like, oh, it's okay.
Right. I think Kimberly is a great example of how good intergender wrestling can be, because she's been, I think the breakout matches for her were the ones with JT Dunn, and then from there it's that whole Chris Dickinson deal. I don't know if you ever heard anything about that.
Yeah.
It created a lot of controversy. But,
I remember that.
It was good because, you know, it got people talking about intergender wrestling and at least putting their opinions out there about it, so maybe more people could check it out and then, you know, just see how they felt about it.
And really, it's not that new of a concept.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all these people are like, oh, I wish the Attitude Era would come back. Well, that was a part of the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
You know, and they did away with it for whatever reasons. But I'm okay with it still being there, and it's actually seems to be flourishing lately.
Oh, definitely.
Because, like you were saying, like up in Maine, you only have that one woman wrestler.
Right.
You know, and if she wants to continue to her craft, she's not just going to, you know, sit out until the next woman drives through.
Oh, yeah, because you never know. Like, actually, I think the first pure, like, women's exhibition match is going down August 28th and 29th. They're bringing another girl up here to face her, but other than that, I don't think she's had a women's match in maybe a half year, maybe 8 months.
Right.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, definitely not gonna, you know, sit on the sideline and wait, you know, maybe have, 2 or 3 matches a year. Instead, she's probably having, I don't know, maybe 50 matches a year instead.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, you know, more experience either way. You know, facing a man or a woman, you're going to get better.
Right. But, yeah, if there's anything else that you want to plug right away before I let you go.
Yeah, definitely. You can follow me on Twitter at Randy Carver X. You can add me on Facebook, Randy Carver Jr. Limitless Wrestling debuts on Saturday, September 12th at Cityside Restaurant and Banquet Hall in Brewer, Maine. The show is called Stage 1. If you want any more information on Limitless Wrestling or Stage 1 or any merchandise, we've got T-shirts on sale for $12. We're going to have DVDs once the show is complete. We've got buttons, bracelets, hats, much more. You can email me at randycarver@yahoo.com. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/Limitless Wrestling, Twitter at LWMaine, and Instagram at Limitless Wrestling. So follow all those. Definitely follow this podcast on Twitter. Give them a like on Facebook. And I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, no, thank you, man.
Creature Feature, a bone-chilling podcast of depraved horror. Creature Feature. If you suffer from a heart condition, avoid Creature Feature. Chunky Larry plunges new depths of terror in Creature Feature. Listen if you dare. Available on Stitcher, iTunes, and Feedburner at geeksoftheindustry.com.
Movies need only 3 things: badasses.
You tell me who you want done, and I'll do the hell out of it.
A chick with drive who don't take no jive.
Boobs.
Do you know that the female breast, known to be the source of life since Eve, can be deadly weapons?
And body counts.
Body count. The mathematics of murder and menace.
The BB&BC podcast discusses lesser-known action, exploitation, and horror cult cinema. You can find the show on iTunes, Stitcher Smart Radio, and SoundCloud by searching for BB&BC Podcast. You can also listen to each episode directly on the show's website at badassesboobsandbodycounts.com.
Got the goddamn message? Let's go to work. Wrestling Soup, motherfucker.
Wrestling Soup, motherfucker.
It's Wrestling Soup, motherfucker. Pay attention. Wrestling Soup, motherfucker.
Wrestling Soup, motherfucker. Like, this shit sucks, but I know it's good for me, you know.
Motherfuckers.
We kept on caressing Triple H's cock.
There's only 2 kinds of men. Ones that have raped and ones that haven't raped yet.
Yeah. And you had to go bust flip.
WrestlingSoup.com.
And we're back. Welcome back, everyone. Yeah, that was a fun interview that I had with Randy. Sorry for some of the audio quality. Like, there was like a weird disconnect, I think, like whenever we were talking, but for the most part, I thought it sounded pretty good to, include it in the show. And yeah, let's start up with, I guess, you want to start with Undertaker?
The Undertaker. Yes, I do. WrestleMania 9 versus Giant Gonzalez. So let's see here.
Can we talk about Gonzalez first? before like we, get crazy with this. Okay, so for those people I've never seen what this guy looks like, he's just a very tall guy. What's that one tall guy that's from India, I think, that just went away?
Great Khali.
Yeah. He sort of looks like him. Sort of. But they put him in, like, a leotard bodysuit with, like...
That makes him look like he's naked, but hairy in the areas?
Yes. Sort of, yeah.
I want to say the worst costume ever for a wrestler.
This is up there. It's definitely up there. And this is also funny. I remember watching Baywatch when I was a kid. He was on there. He was actually on an episode of Baywatch. And I was all excited because I knew who he was. So yeah, this is definitely around the time.
On Baywatch?
I don't know. He was helping out David Hasselhoff's kid or something. I don't know.
All right.
It was there, though.
So, all right, let's get into this. Let's see here. So it was JR's first WrestleMania. Our announced team was JR, Randy Savage, and Bobby Heenan. So, improvement from WrestleMania 8. Then we have, even though Bobby Heenan still tells the worst jokes ever throughout. Like, someone needs to make a cut of, like, Bobby Heenan horrible jokes versus Jerry the King Lawler's horrible jokes. Because
the thing is Heenan has credibility. Lawler was a wrestler. Heenan was just a great guy on a mic. So they just kind of let him do whatever he wants.
I'm not seeing this great guy on the mic aspect, though, because all he does is he shits on whatever the JR and the other guy, Randy Savage, says, and then when he's not shitting on what they say, he's making horrible jokes. So, I don't know. But he really brought it down. Randy Savage was pretty good. He said some stuff that was, it actually helped the commentary. And then JR is JR, of course. He fucking pulled it together.
Right.
So I think this was not only JR's first WrestleMania, but JR's first event in WWE ever. Because Bobby Heenan makes a comment saying, like, JR's career is only, like, 2 hours old or something like that. So that's funny that they would start a new commentator off as the main commentator at WrestleMania.
Well, it's not really... Yeah, he was a new commentator on WWE.
Yeah.
But he did come from WCW. And this was kind of their way of going, you just fired this guy, we're going to make him into something. I think this is the beginning of... Because this was, 93, 94, I want to say?
93.
Yeah, so WCW is there. Obviously, WWF at the time was more prominent.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more prominent, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I could definitely see, like, that, rivalry start brewing around this time. It didn't actually start taking off until about 3 years later with Luger going to WCW and them starting Nitro.
So it was one funny thing on commentary was JR saying slobber knocker.
Mm-hmm.
And Heenan and Randy Savage are like, what the fuck is a slobber knocker? And then
Thank
he has
God
to
someone
explain.
asked it.
So let's get into the match a little bit. So basically, Giant Gonzalez is set up to be this unstoppable force, when in reality he's just a super fucking tall guy that physically can't even move because he's just so fucking huge and weak because of his fucking bones are probably so brittle from his size.
Right. I want to say that he passed away because of that, actually.
Yeah. I think Big Show probably had the same disease as him, but Big Show actually did something to stop it. Whereas I don't think the technology was around back when Giant Gonzalez was still growing, so he ended up dying from it probably. But let's see here. So the match starts off nothing really special. Undertaker did he did the old school, which I guess at the time would be the new school. If that makes sense. And it was pretty cool seeing the first time ever him doing that move at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I thought it would be... I don't know. It's just interesting to see when he starts doing moves. He does his classic running clothesline and stuff like that, but the match overall was just Undertaker throwing these horrible punches at Giant Gonzalez because he couldn't even punch the guy because I'm assuming he was just so weak and fucking would get injured. Like, Undertaker was doing these shitty, like, slaps almost to his chin, and Giant Gonzalez was selling these things horribly, but he was pretty much no-selling most of it. I don't think he went down until, like, after the match was over or something, but... So, yeah, the match is just fucking garbage throughout, but I gave the overall match a 2 out of 10. So basically what happens is Undertaker starts showing some sort of offensive, and Giant Gonzalez is like, well, I'm an unstoppable fucking guy, but I need fucking to DQ to... Which, I guess his manager, who I don't even fucking remember who it was, but his manager throws him a cloth, and I guess it's filled with chloroform.
Mm-hmm.
And so Randy Savage says, "That's chloroform. What do they call it?"
Oh, Jesus.
And then, what else? Oh, yeah, another comment from Bobby Heenan was, "You know how some people can palm a basketball? He can palm a Buick." And and then I think at one point Giant Gonzalez throws Undertaker into his steel steps, and I think it was JR said, "That is solid steel. We're some kind of metal."
Oh, Jesus.
So there was definitely some fuck ups back in the day, which, I mean, you still see fuck ups like that now, but it's just, they were hilariously bad back then. But so basically, the Giant Gonzalez grabs this cloth with the chloroform on it and shoves it in Undertaker's face and proceeds to like knock him out with it. Now, the referee clearly sees Giant Gonzalez doing this for like 5 minutes and then finally decides to call the bell. Made no sense. The guy has clearly got an object shoved in Undertaker's face, and you're not going to call the match right then and there? He lets him do it till he's knocked out, and then he calls the match?
At this point in time, this is a time waster match.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so to give you like a little more background on Gonzalez, he came in at Royal Rumble 93. He left by October 93. You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy was not there long for obvious reasons. And
why wouldn't they give Undertaker a clean win then? If it seems like they had plans for him, or they were going to set up a long feud. But why would you set up a feud at WrestleMania instead of finish it? It makes no sense.
Because you want to get people interested for SummerSlam. And no, like seriously.
Like, WrestleMania's not even over and you're worried about SummerSlam?
You have to be thinking ahead.
Fuck.
You have to. Especially then when it was only... when they only had those 4 pay-per-views.
So when do you even take time to worry about what you're on? You're always worried about the future event? Like...
You worry about your main events. This was obviously not a main event.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this was just kind of like whatever. You know, this is just a bullshit match, kind of a throwaway thing. You know, and yeah, that's pretty much what this is. So
he knocks him out with the rag. Undertaker gets the win, but it's by DQ. So Undertaker's knocked out. They pull him out on a stretcher. Now, another thing I'd like to note is that this whole match, the crowd's pretty much dead. Undertaker got a little bit of a pop at the beginning, but after that, they were dead. I gave the crowd a 3 out of 10.
The entrance was pretty nice.
Yes, the entrance. I forgot to talk about that. He came out with the vulture on the back of the slaves or the gladiators or whatever the fuck they were, and I gave it a 7 out of 10. I liked it. The vulture entrance. It's one of the first ones where they actually put a little bit of extra effort into it. So give it a little bit of a higher score, which is one of the only things that really saved this match, which, I mean, it's still got a horrible overall score, but so Undertaker leaves, he gets stretchered out, Giant Gonzalez proceeds to beat up some referees, and everyone's starting to chant for Hogan. I'm like, what? Why are they not chanting for Undertaker? You know, I get Hogan's the big deal, but it's like they instantly forgot about Undertaker. Anyway, so after like 2-3 minutes, Undertaker comes back from the back. His music hits. He comes back. He proceeds to He goes into the ring, and he ends up knocking down Giant Gonzalez, I believe, which is like a huge deal because the guy didn't even leave his feet at any time during the match, I believe. And that was it. Giant Gonzalez sort of like gets out of the ring and leaves. And they sort of look at each other like, oh, I'll get you at SummerSlam, I guess. So, pretty shitty match. Announcers, I gave 5 out of 10. Undertaker Factor, I gave 5 out of 10. Match moments, I gave 4 out of 10. Overall score, 26 out of 60. So, out of the first 3 WrestleManias, this is rank 2 out of 3.
This will become one of your lowest.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. I'm sure they're going to get a little bit... I mean, I don't really have high hopes for some of these upcoming ones, like King Kong Bundy. Probably won't be that great. So, we'll see how it goes. Probably once we get into maybe WrestleMania 14 with Kane, then Big Boss Man, Triple H, it might get a little... Those will probably pick it up a little bit. And then around the Shawn Michaels Triple H, those will probably be the highest. So we'll see how it goes. So what did you review?
I actually watched Bash at the Beach 1998.
A classic.
Yeah, it's like I'm not like a huge WCW fan. And with that being said, I really had no idea what any of the storyline was throughout this whole thing. Some of it I was able to pick up, and go, oh, okay, that made sense. But overall, like, it was not a bad pay-per-view to go back and just go, oh, let's watch some good wrestling. This does have its share of good wrestling and some bad wrestling. It's...
What would you say were some of the highlights?
So the thing opens up with Raven and the Flock versus Raven versus Saturn in a Raven's rules match.
Okay.
So Raven comes out with the Flock, and Saturn, I guess, was in the Flock at one point. This was an interesting match just because it was just a hardcore match. So like that was fun. But there was a point where Perry Saturn got Raven onto a table, and then he puts a table on top of Raven on top of the table, and then he goes to jump, and like one of the guys from the Flock like moves Raven. But I was just like, man, if this actually happens, like that would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Just chaos. So of course Saturn jumps, because he doesn't see that, Raven's moved. And he botches it. Like, I'm not going to say he completely botched it, but, like, you could tell he did not hit the table right.
Yeah.
Because I would think, like, a man coming through a table, on top of a table, both of them would have broke. But the way how he jumped and landed on it, like, he just sort of knocked off a table and maybe cracked that one. And then, like, the bottom one was pretty much good to go.
Wow.
But, yeah, like that was actually a really good match. Like, it was entertaining. Let's fast forward here. Okay, so, Stevie Ray versus Chavo Guerrero.
Okay.
And I think whoever won that was going to go into a hair match with Eddie Guerrero. I think that was the thing. I don't know. Or maybe Chavo was supposed to fight both guys. I don't know why that would happen, but I could see it happening. So whenever Stevie Ray goes in and like he shakes Chavo's hand, the bell rings and Chavo just tags out. Like he just taps out like instantly. And the ref calls it. He's like, Stevie Ray won. And the guy's just like, what the hell just happened? And then...
Wait, so he just, like, immediately taps out?
Yeah, he taps out during a handshake.
Okay.
Right. So then he's just like, okay, so I'm saving myself for you, Eddie, in this hair versus hair match. I'm gonna shave your hair, and Eddie with his full blown mullet comes out, and they actually put on a really damn good match.
Wait, so who does Eddie Guerrero fight?
Chavo Guerrero.
Oh, so he lost on purpose.
So we could take on Eddie.
Okay.
Full health, pretty much, yeah. In this hair versus hair match. And it's funny that you're talking about Bobby Heenan on WrestleMania. So, Bobby Heenan ended up on WCW in the later 90s.
Okay.
And he's on their commentary team. And he made some really just awkward remarks regarding the Guerreros. Like, he was like, oh, they're all watching this on the TV. Like, the whole family's, back in Mexico watching this on TV. And, and they're like, yeah, that's cool, whatever. And he's like, well, they better watch it, while they can before that TV gets repossessed. And I was just like, wait, what? What? And I don't know the announcing team's name. It's like Tony Schiavone or Schiavone.
Schiavone.
Yeah, that guy. He was just like, shut up. Like he was just like be quiet. Like, just kind of like, it was just weird. It was weird.
They should have like fucking him and Jerry the King Lawler team up, and just them two alone on commentary. Just bad joke after bad joke.
Oh, they can't do that anymore, sir.
I know. I was just saying.
Heenan is not in the best of health. But Eddie wins, and he goes to get like the clippers or whatever to shave Chavo's head, and then Chavo grabs the clippers, and he like goes up to Eddie, and like Eddie's like, screw this, I'm getting out of here, like I won. And then like while he's doing that, like Chavo just starts like shaving his own head. It was just this weird thing, like he had a weird like psychotic smile, and yeah, it was pretty good though.
So I don't know. I guess I'd have to see it.
Yeah, it was a good match overall. Rey Mysterio Jr. versus Chris Jericho in a no disqualification match, and this was to win the WCW Cruiserweight Championship.
That sounds interesting.
Yes. Okay. So the story before this, apparently this match was supposed to be Dean Malenko versus Jericho, but they signed, like, I guess, like the contract for the Bash of the Beach was none of them could, attack the other guy or whatever.
Yeah.
And Dean Malenko, I guess, hit Jericho, so he got banned.
So Jericho has the title?
Right, so Jericho has the title. Dean Malenko gets banned from the match. And so Jericho just comes out there with like a top hat and a cane. He's like, well, I don't have a match, but I told everyone I'd be here, so I'm going to entertain you. And his whole thing is like, I'm going to do like a song and dance type thing. I don't know, it's Jericho in the early 90s or late 90s before he went to WWE. But yeah, so he's like doing this, and I guess the commissioner guy, whoever the hell that is, he comes out there and he's like, oh, well, I actually have a wrestler for you. It's like he hasn't wrestled for, 6 months, and Jericho's like, hell yeah, this is for my title, yeah, let's do that. Bring out the jobber, and just stuff like that, like stuff that you would not hear on WWF or WWE television. He was just like jobber, jabroni, like just pretty much like banned words on Raw now. And he's like, all right. And then Rey Mysterio's music gets played. Mysterio comes out looking like buff as hell. And it's a good match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Malenko does actually come out at the match at some point. But yeah, it was a good match, and Mysterio won. I definitely suggest watching it. The next match was Booker T versus Bret Hart. And I really enjoyed this one too because Bret Hart in the late 90s, this is 98, this is after he's already in the WWF, he's obviously left, but he started becoming like a heel.
Uh-huh.
Before he left.
Yeah.
And he just took that role on. He just picked it up pretty much where he left it off, and he's still wearing the same like Bret Hart type thing, and he's a heel. And that's how Booker T actually wins, and this is for the WCW World Television Championship. Bret Hart just starts attacking Booker T with a steel chair. And it was a good match though. Like I enjoyed it. It was an entertaining little thing. Goldberg versus Kurt Hennig and this was for the WCW World Heavyweight Champion. So before this, Goldberg just won the championship. If that tells you like the timeline of, like where we're at in WCW history. So Goldberg just won the championship, and Kurt Hennig is just like, I'm going to win it. Like, I have heart, I have soul. Like, pretty much like, he's doing his Mr. Perfect routine without saying that he's Mr. Perfect.
Yeah.
And, of course, Goldberg wins. Because this is during that beginning of Goldberg's reign, pretty much. It was really good. I mean, for what it was. And then the last match. This is really interesting. So we have Hollywood Hogan and Dennis Rodman versus DDP and Karl Malone.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that one was really good. Hogan pinned Page after an interference move from the Disciple, whoever the hell that is. But yeah, like it was just a fun match. Just watching like Karl Malone and Rodman actually, go in there and fight.
Yeah.
Like you could tell like those two guys actually took it very serious. But yeah, so that was a good match. Like overall, like I would say this pay-per-view is worth a watch. Like I'm not like a huge WCW fan, and I definitely enjoyed it. I like if I was going to go back in the 90s. In a time machine, like I would probably watch WCW a little more. You know what I'm saying? Like this was really entertaining. Yeah.
So if you have 3 hours to kill, do you watch Raw or do you watch Bash at the Beach?
Oh, Bash at the Beach, especially this week.
All right, how about this? Yeah, you have 3 hours to kill. Do you watch NXT 3 times or Raw?
Oh, Jesus. I don't know.
Do you watch?
At least with Raw.
Do you watch Total Divas 6 times or Raw once?
I'll go Total Divas. Why not?
All right. Speaking of Total Divas. This week was pretty good. Let's see here. So right off the bat, something I noticed is that, do you know how when a new character comes on the screen, they put a little title thing and say, "Oh, this is Summer Rae," and then she's a diva or something like that?
Yeah.
Just so people watching remember who the fuck that is.
Yeah.
They did not do that for Cameron throughout.
No, I don't think she works for him anymore.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're completely ignoring her. Like, they still include her, obviously, because she's in the footage, but, yeah, she's done, so.
Good.
Anyway.
Looking good.
And then,
get rid of her.
Let's see. The next interesting thing I'd like to point out is, so the Divas are on the cover of, was it Total Fitness magazine or something? Some magazine.
Muscle and Fitness.
Muscle and Fitness. Okay. So they get this henchman to run out and buy them a muscle and fitness magazine, right? With them on the cover to show their friends or whatever. Or at least that's what they want the viewers to think is what happened. Because like 30 seconds late, well, the guy says, "Oh, I had to run to like 6 different stores because it was sold out everywhere." To make it look like, "Oh, you guys better go out and buy your copy of Muscle and Fitness. It's gonna sell out." But then I forget which woman asked Nikki, but one of them asked Nikki, "Is this out yet?" And she's like, "No, it's not out yet." So either Nikki doesn't know when her own magazine comes out, or the guy was just lying to make it look like it's selling like hotcakes.
And it's a magazine.
Yeah.
Magazines don't sell. Sorry. It is not like 1995 where magazines were an important part of, sales.
Yeah.
I mean, this is 2015. Magazines are not a realistic selling point. I think whenever we were talking about this the other day, I was saying the only magazine that would sell out in 2015 would be Playboy, Scarlett Johansson, and You Are Promised full nude pictures. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the only thing in 2015 that would sell out in a magazine format.
Pretty much, yeah.
I can't think of any other thing that would be selling out.
Yeah, it would have to be
degree.
someone huge like Scarlett Johansson, Emma Watson, someone huge like that.
I don't think Emma Watson would even get that kind of. You know what I'm saying? Like Scarlett Johansson. Yeah, she would.
Or Ronda Rousey. Do you think she has a big enough fan base?
I think she has a big enough fan base. I don't think I think it would sell out, but I don't think it would sell out as fast as the Scarlett Johansson, Jennifer Lawrence issues.
Mm-hmm. See, it depends though, because there are already nudes of Scarlett Johansson and Jennifer Lawrence and Ronda Rousey, I believe, out there.
Right, but you have to actually search for those now. They're not really easy to find. It's just kind of
just search Ronda Rousey and boobies. Like any 3-year-old can find them. So I don't know. There's not really anyone high tier actresses out there that haven't done a nude,
Right.
It's sort of either you do one in a movie or you do one for a photo shoot or it gets leaked,
Yep.
Pretty much impossible. But anyway, so let's see what else we got here. So Alicia talks about Eva Marie, and actually Alicia Fox is actually making some fucking sense for once, because some of the things she's saying about Eva Marie, because before the talk was, or all the divas were saying, Eva didn't do shit for 2 years, right? So if you go off of that argument alone, it's like, okay, well, to play devil's advocate, maybe they didn't really let Eva Marie do anything, but then Alicia's talking in more detail. She's like, oh yeah, she didn't watch from backstage. She didn't participate in this, that, and the other. And she lists off all this stuff that Eva Marie could have been doing all these years, but she didn't. So that... Sorry, I dropped my mic. So that makes me believe, yeah, Eva Marie does not give a shit about the wrestling business. She's in the I want to improve the Eva Marie brand business.
You could tell that too, because later on, when she actually goes back and watches old wrestling footage of Brian Kendrick,
yeah,
and she's watching him do this move that she's trying to learn, and she's like, "Holy shit!" You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's when it actually clicked on her. Like, this is something. You know, like this is actually kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, you know, this is dangerous. You know, like, I don't think she ever put two and two together.
Yeah, because
I think she might have.
She was watching that video, and they show the clip of Sid Vicious breaking his leg in half.
Right.
Which is, I'm currently working on a little series we're gonna do, TV PG Total Divas, where I cut it down to all the great TV PG moments, so them cussing, and I'm definitely gonna include the Sid Vicious leg snap, because that is not TV PG.
No.
No, it is not.
No.
They even amplify the sound of it snapping.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a cringeworthy moment. But yeah, she definitely realizes this is for real, and then later on in the episode, she actually learns the move, which fucking stupid. And they did make a point. Alicia did make another point where she's saying, why is she training with Brian when she's going to be having to wrestle women? She needs to learn how to wrestle with a woman, not with a man.
I don't think that makes a difference.
I think it does, because if a man carries you up the turnbuckles, it's going to be easier than if a woman carries you up the turnbuckles. You know what I mean? For that finisher.
Maybe for that finisher, maybe, but overall, I don't think it really makes too much of a difference.
If he's helping her way too much to sell the moves and to do the moves, it's gonna make a difference. Like, if he can carry her weight and do things, and like, for example, if he wants to suplex her, he's going to be able to lift her and make her land perfectly a lot easier than a woman who's not as strong will be able to. Eva Marie's going to have to put a lot more force into her jump and, you know, sell the move a certain way, because it's not going to be exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. She's going to fucking suck. I have a feeling she's not going to win the fans over. This whole thing is going to crash and burn. I get WWE will push her to death, but they know when it's time to cut the cord usually, because they knew if they gave Roman Reigns the title at WrestleMania, that was a huge mistake. I mean, it took them right up until halfway through WrestleMania to realize that, but
right.
I think they're going to realize that for Eva, hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah, I don't know. I have this feeling that we're stuck with her. I mean,
if she can actually get decent and win the fans over, we'll see. But if the fans just treat her like shit like they have been, then I don't know. Hopefully WWE doesn't confuse booing her because she sucks for booing her because she's a heel. Which,
right.
I believe I saw some guy had a sign at an event that said, I would like to clarify that I am booing for you because my dislike for you as a person instead of my dislike for you as a heel, or something like that. So
that is hilarious.
I definitely think more fans should have that sign when they truly mean it. But
that is amazing. Which they did show that too. Like, I know we talked about it a couple weeks ago, but whenever she was on NXT just doing like the promo, and like everyone's like, you can't wrestle. So what I imagine happened is, because you could tell on her face that she was very sad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you could tell like she was hurt by that. And
they didn't even show any of her speech on NXT or on Total Divas. They just showed her looking sad.
No, they did. Like they showed like a little bit of her talking. And
did they? I could have swore they were just like showed her come out and say hi guys, blah blah blah, And then after that, it was just like just silence from her.
Oh no, like they never like showed like straight up silence, because they showed like like the audience being like, you can't wrestle, that kind of thing. But then like they let her, like they threw in like a little clip of her saying something else, and then she leaves, and you can tell like whenever she's leaving, like she's about to break down.
Yeah.
And then the very next thing that you see, because I'm thinking, holy shit, they're going to show us her crying backstage. No, what they show us instead is happy-go-lucky Eva Marie being like, that's exactly what I needed. I'm like, what? No, that's not what you needed.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so Eva Marie just amazing.
Wow.
Like, it's getting to the point now where, like, I almost just want her just win all the titles that she possibly can. Like make her into the record-holding 600-day champion, or what was Mae Young's like record,
12 years,
which they don't even acknowledge.
It was like 10 years. It was something ridiculous.
And that's the reason why they won't bring back the women's champion. That right there.
Yeah.
Because they know that they can't have Nikki Bella have the champion.
All they need to do is rename it the Unified Women's Title or something like that. So technically it's a new thing.
Right, but they can't just, throw, like, I think that's why they did it. That way they could always be like, oh, the longest women's champion was AJ Lee at this many days, and then, now it's going to be, oh, Nikki Bella at this many days, as opposed to Mae Young for a decade and a half.
And it's sad that Brie Bella is going to beat AJ Lee's record because she doesn't even have she's not even putting the title on the line.
Right.
Between now and when she wins the record.
Right.
So, whatever. But what do you even say to someone like Eva Marie? Because, okay, you either compliment her and she's like, okay, thank you, or you tell her she fucking sucks and she's like, oh, you're just a hater. You're fueling me to do better. Ugh. Like, no matter what you say, she twists it and doesn't give a shit. She thinks she's perfect, and like you're just hating her. You're just hating on her. Like, I don't know how to explain it.
With her, if I were to meet her, I would just compliment her looks. Because like she is not an ugly woman. So that'd be something nice I could say, by completely avoiding you suck at wrestling. Like I'd be like, oh, you look really pretty, and then walk away.
How about so when are you gonna give up and do a Playboy shoot?
Oh yeah.
Give up on wrestling and do a Playboy shoot.
Oh, it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Let's see here. And then we get into like the Naomi John storyline with his kids, which I thought that was funny. There's some funny moments. The kids are like playing with a fucking alligator, and like she's just blowing all this fucking money, not telling him a thing about it, spoiling the kids.
I called it. I called it like right when I saw like the alligator and like the petting zoo thing.
Yeah.
I knew the outcome instantly. Like, okay, like the bouncy house, that's one thing. Cool, whatever, you got a bouncy house. But once you go out and you get a petting zoo, and then you go to like a theme park, or like wherever the fuck like she took them.
Mm-hmm.
Once you start doing that, I instantly knew what was about to happen, and it sure enough happened. Like, he starts getting texts and phone calls from his ex-wife or ex-girlfriend, or the kid's mother, and that was just kind of like, what the fuck, because you know good and well that their mother, she could be the best woman in the world, but I highly doubt she has the
It's
money.
probably all fucking story too. You don't know.
Right.
It's all fucking work.
It very well could be. But, like, once he started getting that, I was like, yeah, I saw that coming. Like, it didn't surprise me.
And then the storyline of Bree and Nikki buying a studio, and their brother sort of works his way into it because of Nikki, and then they sort of turn on Bree, and then they work it out because they're a family. I don't know. Wasn't paying too much attention. So,
yeah, whatever.
Total Divas was Total Divas. There was a few funny moments. If you like the show, give it a watch.
Yeah, I don't feel it had enough Natty. I feel like every episode should have Natty somewhere.
Yeah. The preview for what's coming up on Total Divas is pretty interesting. A lot of big moments coming, like Tyson.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, like injuries just abound. Affairs apparently. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So, looks like we're running out of time here.
Yeah.
You want
we
to
pretty much talked about
do one more, or call it a night and save them for next time? What do you think? You want to knock out NXT real fast?
Well, we've pretty much talked about NXT, so
yeah. Let's see here.
I think we're good there.
Yeah, the more I look over NXT, it's basically
it's everything that we talked about earlier.
It's a 60-minute trailer for the Takeover.
Yeah. Did you watch Swerved?
Yes, I did.
Let's knock that out. That's quick, and
yeah,
that way I still remember what the hell I watched.
So I think they're finally hitting their stride with how to edit these different things together.
Mm-hmm.
Because, okay, so they start out with Boogeyman segment, and I liked that one. I think Boogeyman was pretty funny, and I love how they call him Boogie, like the whole time. So that one was pretty funny, and then they get into the Kofi Kingston diaper scene.
That was funny.
Yeah. See, it's hard for me to believe that. How do you not know you're being swerved when you've been on the show Swerved, and it wouldn't be suspicious, or do you think they just don't even think about it at the time?
I think they don't even think about it, especially when it comes down to, like, you're at a restaurant. Because Kofi, all the times that he's been swerved, have pretty much been, you know,
but how many times is Paige taking out Kofi to lunch to where he doesn't think anything's up? You know what I mean?
That's a good question. I mean, honestly, they're probably friends.
Yeah, it's
so
like,
it's probably,
Heath Slater and Fandango are wanting to take me to lunch. Nothing's up. Nothing's suspicious about that.
Right, but like I could see like Paige and Kofi being friends. Paige seems like the kind of girl that, you know, she seems friendly enough to where, hey, we're both off. I know this restaurant. Let's go. You know, like that's sort of how I see that. But that was funny.
Yeah, I liked it. And then Rosa in the waiting room was probably the worst segment. Because
it was just because it showed how stupid she was.
Yeah, she didn't know what the fuck was going on at all.
Right.
Even after she got told she got swerved, she still didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Right. She probably wasn't told about that show.
Yeah.
Like that was happening, and she's just like, okay, whatever.
Let's see here. Heath Slater and Miz running around in the costumes. Some of that, I'm sure, was stunt doubles.
Some of it.
Some of it, I think.
But when it mattered, it was gold.
Yeah.
You know, like those two guys that are sitting there and they're talking about their favorite wrestlers, and then just out of nowhere you see Miz and Heath Slater dressed in these costumes, and like their like, you know, masks or heads come off, because they're like pretty much in furry costumes, and their heads come off, and Heath, you know, like they switch their heads, But these guys just go, and like as they like run away, the guy's just like, was that just Heath Slater fighting The Miz? That's weird. Like that was funny. Like that I enjoyed.
The random questions they ask these fans in between segments are pretty funny sometimes. Like, wasn't one of them like, would you have sex with your sister or something like that?
Yeah.
Something like completely off the fucking wall. But,
oh, yeah.
And then they did the diaper segment again.
Which I don't think we really described it before, but pretty much they're at this restaurant, and the people that sit next to them at the table, or at the table next to them, are this woman's like, you know, she comes in with like a baby, and she's talking to the guy that's at the table. And these are also two people that you have not seen on Swerved yet. So that was nice.
So
it wasn't like, okay, you guys are fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Like, you've seen these people how many times? But, yeah, so she's just like, you know, my baby's poop smells really good. Like, it's weird. And she talks the guy into smelling it. And then and then he's like, wow, it does really smell good. And then she gets the diaper back, and then she starts to eat out of the diaper.
I'm just gonna eat my baby's feces real fast.
Yeah, it's like,
weird.
and then they start sharing it. So with Heath Slater, he took out Fandango and the Ascension.
You know what would be fucking
pretty much
even
that
funnier
tables.
is if it was really shit, and they were just so fucking stone cold faced that they ended up tricking someone into eating real shit.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. But yeah, so she talks Heath Slater into trying it and like smelling it, and he's just like, what the hell? Okay, sure. And then he does, and then he's like, wow, that really doesn't smell that bad. And then he tastes it. And the whole time, like, Fandango and the Ascension are just getting pissed. Like, they're like, dude, that's fucked up. And like, Heath Slater's like, no, like, try this.
You know what I love is that these are supposed to be some of the baddest men in the world, and they fucking eat salads. And like,
oh yeah.
I mean, I guess you got to stay in shape, and that's how you do it. But it's just weird. Like, the wrestlers are not ordering fucking steak and potatoes; they're getting like fucking a piece of grilled chicken or a salad. You know?
It looked like Kofi got something pretty big.
Yeah.
Like, it looked like he had like a bunch of like quesadillas or some kind of like thing on his plate.
He seems like one of the guys that no matter what he eats, he's not going to gain weight, and he doesn't really need to be super built, because he's already a little guy.
Right.
So he'd probably get away with it. But the last segment was Big Show. I didn't pay too much attention to this. It was getting late. So Big Show, basically they did what they did to Boogeyman, fuck with him a little bit while he was doing his interview.
Oh, yeah.
So basically what I said about the editing, so they started and finished with the same segment. And then Kofi in the diaper and Heath in the diaper were, you know, comparable at the beginning and end. And then the middle was the thing. So the way it came in is the way it went out. So it sort of made more sense that way. So
right, it's either like, I think they should either do it where it's all just everything together, or split it up, like pretty much have pacing like they did on this one.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't know. Either way it'd be fine. Either, like you were saying, keep it together or split it. But if they do split it, they should split it. Continue how they did it on this episode. So hopefully, this is a good sign that Swerved is, you know, they're improving. Hopefully they keep it around, because from what we've been hearing is that there's a few people, aka Big Show, who's not a huge fan of the show and does not want to be Swerved at all.
Right.
Whereas then you got people like Boogeyman, who's like, you know, just all for it and just thinks it's funny or whatever.
Right. And like, you can tell like Kofi finds it funny, Paige finds it funny. You know, like there's like enough of them to find it funny.
Yeah. And like
But-
you got like Heath Slater and Fandango who are like, holy shit, they're actually giving us something to do, you know?
And it's not us sucking in a match. So all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, I think Swerved was good this week.
Yeah, I agree too.
Yeah.
Worth a watch.
Yeah, but I think that's it.
Yep, that's it for the night.
Oh, let's do some quick plugs, and then we're out of here. Real quick, Limitless Wrestling again, and IWE, it's up in Maine. Limitless Wrestling will be having their first show, I want to say it's in Brewer, Maine. I apologize if I got that wrong, but I do know it's on September 12th. They're on Facebook, Twitter, and the date is all over there, so you're able to find out like the exact location. Let's see, our stuff. You could always find me at rstraws on Twitter or on the Network Pod on Twitter. Our Facebook page is facebook.com on the / on the network podcast, or you can find us on onthenetworkpodcast.com. You can email us at onthenetworkpodcast@gmail.com. We're also on YouTube. Just do a search for On the Network. And go ahead and listen to BB and BC podcast with Mike and Iris, where they talk about cult cinema. Face the Music with Joe and Amy. They just got a hip-hop artist on this week. I can't wait to listen to. I don't remember his name, but it should be interesting. Geeks of the Industry with Chunky Larry. Mega Powers Radio, which is one of their shows, is amazing. MSR always blows it out of the water, like production-wise, and it's a good show, guys. Talking About with Glenn, and Wrestling Soup with Joey and Mish. Do you have any more?
That's about it.
All right. Yeah, I think that's it.
All right. Good night.